Hey, it's Paul Olbrantz, Clear to Close Brokers with your Monday or Tuesday check-in here on interest rates. Why does it matter if you're looking to buy a home? You got to follow the interest rates because that's how much you're going to pay ultimately for the house. Remember, it's a combination of two things, the purchase price and the interest rates. You'll be surprised at some of the swings that we've had in interest rates, how much more a house costs somebody, or by the way, how much less a house costs. So always pay attention to the interest rates. If you have any questions on that, always feel free to reach out and let me know. I would absolutely love to work with you. So as we head into this wonderful week, we are heading into this week floating, which means given what we may know that's going to happen, we think that interest rates are going to continue their decline rather than go up. However, that is something that can change just like that. So you always want to be paying attention to my emails, to my videos and stuff like that, because I will let you know if it does. Really, what's going on this week are two main things that we're going to get to here in a little bit that will definitely change interest rates for the positive, or it could really hurt interest rates. Before we get there, let's go last week. Let's dive in some of the market or the housing highlights that happened last week. Existing home sales fell slightly in April. That mainly had to do with cancellations. Look, here's the thing. The reason real estate agents want you fully pre-approved, working with a great lender and going over numbers is not because they have preferences. Well, maybe they do, right? But it's more about preparing you for what to expect when buying a house. The majority of these cancellations, at least in my experience, are with people like getting into contracts, aren't keeping up to date on the interest rates. They go and they find out their payment is much higher than they thought it was or what they calculated a year ago. So there's that warning. So if you're a buyer, you have to make sure you're always in contact with your lender. And even people are thinking of selling a house. Before you accept an offer, you want to make sure that the buyer's agent and the buyers know what to expect when it comes to closing costs, where the rates are, and what their monthly payment is. It sounds obvious, but believe me, it happens so much. Okay, so with existing home sales down in April, new home sales jumped by 11%, which is a 3-year gain. The truth is, we don't have an interest rate problem in the market. We have a supply problem. So the builders are really helping pick up that, but they're not building enough homes to really absorb this demand for housing. And so we're going to get to interest rates here in a second, but as interest rates start to decline, that's going to put more demand on that limited supply. And what's that going to do? That's going to push housing prices up. So for those that have already got in, you're going to win in this market. For those sitting on the sidelines, I would really consider, making an offer and even paying a little bit higher interest rates because, as they say, they may have a chance to refinance. So getting to that, Fannie Mae just came out and it revised its 2025 interest rate prediction lower to 6.1%. Now, this could spark a huge refi boom of 4 million homeowners right now that could benefit from that type of interest rates. Now, think about this, 4 million people refinancing. Last year, there was only about 1 million refinances. So that's a huge demand. And what happens, the refinance rates go down, but also the purchase rates go down. And we talked about that. That's going to create a lot of activity out there. So something to think about, things that make you go, All right, what's going to happen this week? This is going to be a big week, my friends. The Fed meeting notes are coming out on Wednesday. Look, it's all about what they're saying that's going to drive this market. If they're, it's going to talk about not cutting interest rates, short-term rates, that could really put a lot of upward or downward pressure on bonds, and that could put an upward pressure on interest rates. However, if they come out and say, inflation seems to be coming down, and the employment rate is where they want, and they're going to start cutting rates to spark the economy, that could be very beneficial for interest rates. Speaking of inflation, on Friday, to top it off, PCE comes out, which is the Fed's favorite measurement of inflation. So we have the notes, the Fed notes, and the Fed's favor measurement of inflation all happening this week. It's going to change the market and your interest rate. So stay tuned. We will keep you up to date. So if you're thinking about buying or refinancing, reach out. I would love to help you if you're, even if you're not ready to buy yet. We do what's called a hopes and dreams conversation, where we can put a plan in place for you without even taking an application, pulling credit, etc. And the same thing with refinancing. It may not be the time to refinance yet, but we want to get you that target rate. So we know that once that rate hits you, we're going to call you, that rate hits the market, we're going to call you up and we're going to help you save money. Okay, Paul Olbrantz, Clear to Close Brokers. I think that's a wrap. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. And by the way, right there's a QR code. Go ahead and click it. That's going to lead you to my calendar. Book a time. Would love to talk to you.